So now you saw it from two perspectives, a product-based business and a service-based business. And somewhere in that spectrum, you are going to find your business. Now I know we have a couple other photographers in the audience and I see some people nodding, so I got cosign, okay. I'm not talking trash. I do believe that when you build content for your dream customer, you're gonna start seeing the type of people who will wait longer, drive farther, pay more for what it is that you do. So really briefly, to bring you back up to speed, what are you gonna need to do to get in connection with your photographer? Please contact your photographer. I have found photographers and videographers and makeup artists. I found people on Instagram. Where do I go? I don't use the yellow pages. I don't even use Google. I go to Instagram to find everything I need. We're gonna talk about how to find perfect hashtags, how I found the makeup artist for this event on a hashtag in Seattle. We're gonna get into how we actually use it. So if you're looking for a photographer, I'm a big photographer, we're gonna get into hashtags, but looking for photographers, location-based hashtags, then you're viewing hundreds of portfolios in a matter of minutes. You're gonna sign the contract and issue payment. Always, always, always sign a contract. You are going to select and pack your outfits. We have a full rundown as one of the bonuses of all the things I recommend to take on a shoot. So y'all in this class are gonna be getting this course and all the bonuses associated with it. So clap it on up for the producers who are, yes, I know. Front row is really bringing it, y'all. I'm just saying, like they came in and it's like, I haven't even finished the sentence and I'm already getting like, woohoo, amen, yes. I was like, I see you. So what we're gonna do after lunch, true story, I already decided, we're gonna be rotating. Okay, because I want to see if anybody else can ever beat this front row, just saying. I don't know, they set the bar real high. Also when it comes to selecting your outfits, I recommend 2 to 3 outfits, and I recommend layers because you could take off a layer, you don't have to spend any time, and now you have a whole new look for you to be sharing on Instagram and to pack your props. You already know how to do that. So, when it comes to selecting locations for a shoot, just one main thing, create it around lifestyle. Because you can only have so many poses of you looking at the camera and smiling. So we want to pick locations that are reflective of what it is you do. I've always said that you don't have to sell on Instagram, you have to show on Instagram. If you are a photographer, you actually have to have photos of you shooting. If you are a life coach, you actually should be showing how you do your coaching. Is it online? Is it in person? Are you speaking at events? This takes money to invest to create the content, but then the content then pays for itself again and again and again. Now, if for some reason you don't know where to go, that's okay. When you work with a really qualified photographer, they will help work you through that. So your office, your co-working space, a coffee shop, and please let me just be the first to say, I am a photographer, I am also somebody who is photographed. It is so awkward all the time. My husband and our creative director, Tammy, they do most of my shots, and I sit there and I give him like death stares, like, don't make me take this photo. Let's go. Like, it's so awkward to have your photo taken. At least I am, I die. But when I know that the reason I do that and the reason I go through the uncomfortability is because it empowers me to run my business, then I just don't care. People's opinions of me don't pay my bills. When I start conversations on the internet, that does. So I will sit through and I will be uncomfortable. And I will sit through and just do a live in a coffee shop. And I will sit there and do a live in a studio with other people walking around because I know I'm standing in my purpose and I'm serving somebody. So when we get out of our own heads about what are people thinking, we say, how can I help somebody else and how can I get my business seen? So what we're going to do is we are going to talk about not overthinking the shoot. Depend on your photographer, create a symbiotic relationship between that. And what we're going to do is tips on working with a brand photographer. I actually thought that I was gonna get into this course and I thought, I'm gonna bring a brand photographer on and we're gonna talk through all of this. And then I said, no, this isn't a photography class. I'm a photographer. I'm a business owner. I know how to work with business owners, but I straddle both those lines. Word of the wise. You wanna send the addresses of your shoot in advance. Number 2, you wanna send your phone number and text them immediately, like, hey, I'm leaving, I'll see you there in a second. You're gonna wanna send a link to a Pinterest gallery. I asked our small business owners to please send me inspiration. We're gonna get to what specific inspiration I asked for to ensure that they executed on what they wanted and to confirm the image turnaround time. People often complain, like a business owner will be like, I didn't get my images back. I was like, oh my gosh, how long have you been waiting? 2 days. 2 days. How long could it take? And you're like, girl? So confirm the turnaround time. Some people can get it back to you in 48 hours. Some people take 4 weeks. Know what you're working with in advance. So, what props should you take to a photo shoot? We just went through all of that, but what I want people to do is get into the heads about their businesses. If you have to show, not sell, if you have to show on Instagram and Facebook what you do, what are those props? I mean, get really, really silly and granular. Many people are like, okay, Jasmine, I got to hear this part, I'm a little bit yawny. Like Yawn Fest 2020, we're talking about a branding shoot and I'm not gonna do it. Well, if I can't convince you that investing in your own business, because I always think you gotta spend money to make a little money, and you still haven't convinced you, and you're like, I'm not gonna use it on Instagram. Okay, would you use it for headshots on your website? Photos on social? Would you use it for a newsletter header? For newsletter photos? Would you use it for pricing guides? Would you use it for advertising? Would you use it for blog posts? Would you use it for podcast holders? Would you use it for printed materials? Would you use it for collaborations? Would you use it for headshots as you speak on stages? Let me tell you, inside of one of the bonuses, I listed like, I don't even know, 30 ways to use images from a branding photo shoot that have nothing to do with social media. We need collateral to position us as unique value propositions on the World Wide Web. If you don't show up, nobody knows you exist. That's just it. So now I am no longer going to ramble. What I'm going to do is show 5 tips, really expedited, before we move on to the next step on how to prepare for a shoot.
So let's talk about 5 takeaway tips when it comes to selecting props for your photo shoot. Number 1, don't back away from collaboration with your photographer. A photographer is creative and they're artistic and they could probably speak well to your brand, but then that leads us to point number 2. Identifying what your brand embodies from a visual perspective. So this means bringing out magazine clippings or creating a Pinterest board to kind of show the direction that you're going. 3rd tip, less is more. So often you're going to want to throw everything under the sun right to get to your photo shoot. Well, it's okay to bring everything, but then also be open to insights from your photographer, friends or family, and remember, you want to measure that against your dream customer. Tip number 4 is if you have ways to incorporate like pulled quotes or inspirational sayings into creating lifestyle stock photography, don't back away from that because quotes do pretty well on social media. And the last and final tip, create a list a couple days before, at minimum the night before, to get all of your props ready for the photo shoot so that you show up not stressed, fully confident, and ready to shine.